I worship the gym, and I'm not saying you need to as well, but I just wish certain people, especially women, were more mindful and respectful of the gym as a public space that people go to work on themselves, not be subject of your narcissistic, attention-seeking needs. Hey everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, I want to talk about respect. Because for a while, there's been a growing lack of basic respect between men and women and within our society in general. In previous generations, and still in many societies today, there's a certain expectation of respect, manners, and etiquette for children towards their parents and elders, between men and women, and between individuals. This was traditionally enforced by the parents, supported by the community, and encouraged by society. However, over time, and specifically in Western societies today, the roles have reversed. Parents used to be in control, but now it's children who run the household, make the decisions, and hold the power. The lack of discipline creates disrespectful children in the household, which manifests as authoritarian behavior within the community and society. This is not the outcome in every case, but it's a growing truth, trend, and reality within society. Just look at universities bending at the knee to the will of extreme students, governments running on platforms to appease a young, loud minority, large brands and corporations pandering to a woke ideology, and everyday citizens being silenced out of fear of losing their jobs and being cancelled. As many people have commented, this superiority mentality is also present in feminist groups and has negatively impacted many parts of our society, including the family unit, the value of masculinity, and caused men to check out of dating and marriage. However, the extremes tend to balance each other. The farther women go to the left, the more distant men go to the right. And in the process, the foundation that allow men and women to live cooperatively starts to break down and degrade. So today, I want to talk about the most essential foundation: respect. Most notably, the lack of respect between men and women, which leads to a lack of respect in relationships, households, families, young children, and the cycle continues. To be clear, I'm not talking about respectful disagreements, because those can have a positive influence on society by highlighting the most vital points on both sides of an argument to create a more robust, unified solution. But when respect is neither given nor received, neither side wins, because neither side is listening or learning from the other, and might even lead to further division. So here are a few examples of how women disrespect men and how men disrespect women. These do not cover assault or criminal acts, as those are obviously way beyond a fundamental lack of respect. A big one for me is women going to the gym wearing very minimal clothing with the sole purpose of gaining attention from men. We've all seen these videos of women calling men predators and creeps for looking their way at the gym.
Feral, like fucking feral. There's mirrors everywhere, so it's like you can easily catch people. Oh, this is nothing.
I'm sorry, but playing the victim card and baiting men for personal gain is just disgusting. At this game, men never win. Because if they look at women, they're predators. And if women feel the need to wear respectable gym clothing, then they're oppressed. Obviously, the problem is men. Always. As an athlete and as someone who really values being fit and healthy, the gym is my sanctuary and my escape from the BS, stresses, and problems of the world. It's one of the few places that makes me feel like a better person, mentally, physically, and spiritually. I know a lot of men, not just athletes, who work in offices, sitting in front of their computers all day, who use the gym to escape work, de-stress, build their physical selves, and test their physical bodies. And I think this is true for a lot of people. I'm not saying we have to cover up and not show any skin. I go to CrossFit classes, yoga classes, Pilates classes, where a lot of women, sometimes myself included, are wearing sports bras and leggings or shorts. And that's totally acceptable. It's functional and helps lower your body temperature. My problem is with the overly sexualized, promiscuous outfits specifically designed to emphasize certain body parts to attract attention. For example, the thong shorts, where literally the material is between your butt cheeks. Please tell me what functional or athletic purpose this serves. Also, the sports bras that literally have no support, where if you bend over, your boob is gonna pop out. The worst part is sometimes women also film themselves doing sensual movements and then call out men who look their way. If you're on camera posting to social media, you're doing it for views, likes, and admiration. You're creating lust in a place designed for personal improvement. If you want to wear this type of apparel to the club, a bar, or a concert where it's more appropriate, then go for it. But at the gym, people are there to work on themselves, to become more fit and healthy, to escape the stresses of work and overcome certain challenges, whether it's mental addictions or physical injuries. The unfortunate reality is many men are now canceling their gym memberships and now fear going to the gym because a few disingenuous women are trying to gain attention by degrading, mocking, and shaming men. I worship the gym, and I'm not saying you need to as well, but I just wish certain people, especially women, were more mindful and respectful of the gym as a public space that people go to work on themselves, not be subject of your narcissistic, attention-seeking needs. I know many women treat dating like a game and use men like disposable pawns on a chessboard, playing to see how many free drinks and dinners they can collect, how many gifts they can receive, and compare their number of DMs after a night out. The problem is men, just like women, have feelings, hopes, and desires. And if the roles were reversed and women found out men were playing these games on us, there would be an uproar. Men would be called out, platformed, and canceled for their misogynistic, patriarchal behavior. But if women do it, it's okay. A man asking a woman for a drink is an initiation to start a conversation. It means he is interested and wants to get to know her. But if the woman is not interested and has no intention to have a conversation to get to know him, then just respectfully decline. There needs to be mutual value. The value of a drink needs to be reciprocated with the value of time and conversation. And the problem just becomes a million times worse on the internet, where women use dating apps like it's Uber Eats. Although some people and women in comments think it's funny, personally, I think it's just disgusting. However, if women are upfront and clear about their intentions, for example, that they're willing to have dinner but not interested in any type of relationship, they just want a free dinner with a friend and the man still agrees, then that's fine. But don't mislead and use men for your own personal gain when you're not willing to reciprocate any value. The point here is just be clear about your intentions, because when the expected outcome or value of an exchange don't align, that's when people feel taken advantage of, deceived, and disrespected. I've heard many women today say they are the prize. This is just a selfish and entitled mentality.
When it comes to dating and relationships, who is typically seen as the prize, the man or the woman?
Me, bitch.
Yeah, the woman.
So if the woman is the prize, why even bother going out with a man in the first place?
I don't know.
That's a good
Great
question.
Because shouldn't the relationship, the unity you create and the bond you form with your partner be the prize? Isn't that the point of a relationship? Instead, many women value a relationship based on what they receive. It's always in the me context. For example, how much money does he have to buy me things? What trips can he take me on? And what can he do to make me happy, excited, fulfilled, and satisfied? And the hypocrisy is when men ask women what they bring to the table and the value that they provide, it's treated misogynist and disrespectful towards women. Perhaps the solution is to ask not what the relationship can do for you, but ask what you can do for the relationship. It's much more impactful to flip it and ask what I can do for the relationship. Because a good partner will see, acknowledge, and thank you for your efforts and the value you bring to the relationship and how it makes them feel. In turn, they will want to reciprocate to ensure you're also receiving the same value, to ensure they don't lose you and the value you bring to the relationship. It's this back and forth of effort and value that makes a relationship work, become stronger and more resilient. I know it's a silly example, but as a kid, I was taught to treat things I cared about like an apple tree. The more you take care of it and ensure it's getting the right amount of water, sunlight, and nutrients, the more delicious apples you'll receive. Don't expect anything more than what you put in, period. There are many examples here that I need to talk about. First, don't start an argument with your partner in public. That's just embarrassing you and your partner. Hold back and wait till you're at home in private to have an open and honest conversation. Second, don't talk down about your partner to his friends, family, and acquaintances. This just makes you look ungrateful to be with him or gives the perception he's not good enough to be with you. Either way, it's an indicator that your relationship needs work by conversing with your partner or seeking professional guidance. Just don't use his friends, family, and acquaintances as your private relationship counselor to air out your dirty laundry. It's just disrespectful. Third, some women treat men as disposable because they know they have sexual options. However, just because a woman knows she has options doesn't prevent her from treating other humans with dignity and respect. A man doesn't exist to serve your needs. You should both strive to serve each other. And if you have no intention to serve his needs, then be honest and kindly say you're not interested. But don't use him for a night of free drinks and then dispose of him at the end of the evening because he no longer serves any use. Fourth, be honest about your relationship status. If you're in a relationship but opening doors and leaving doors open for plan A, B, C, D, etc., it means you're not fully committed to the relationship yet. And if you're not comfortable being fully committed, then that's perfectly okay. But just be honest about it. And don't have the expectation your partner should be fully committed to you. And fifth, this goes without saying, a woman should never be physically abusive towards a man with the belief that because she is a woman, he will not fight back to defend himself. Even if I was Ronda Rousey, I wouldn't ever dare start a physical fight with a man because the odds are probably not in my favor and he has every right to defend himself. Some women view men as the worst thing to ever happen to humanity, cause of all problems, pain, and suffering. And if men just disappeared, the world would be a much better place, more peaceful, safe, loving, caring, and honest. First of all, these women are completely ignorant to everything men have done and continue to do for us to have the lifestyle we enjoy every day. The houses we live in, the roads we drive on, the electricity we use, the food we eat, and many of the things we buy were entirely or primarily designed, built, and maintained by men. So life would be very different and not very good or fulfilling without men. Second, it's hard for me to believe that women who say men are evil and the enemy don't have any good men in their lives. From fathers to brothers to family members to friends and coworkers, are you seriously saying there are no good men in this world? And if that's truly the case, and there's not a single good man you've come across in your life, maybe you should start to ask yourself if perhaps you're the one who's not a very good person. I think there's a saying, when you think everyone around you is crazy, that's when you know you're crazy. I think the same thing applies here. The so-called patriarchy is not the cause of all evil, to be dismantled, destroyed, and reversed. We need men just like men need women. The fact is, we're designed and refined over thousands of years to complement one another and work together, to reproduce and raise a family, and to pass down the best versions of ourselves to our children, to give them the best chances of success in life. Perhaps women who think men are the enemy are their own worst enemy. Women control sex and men control relationships. Unfortunately, when it comes to relationships, many women have been strung along for several years, during the peak of their reproductive years, by men they love in hopes of marriage and raising a family, only to be discarded when a better, younger option comes along. In these situations, women do have many ways of forcing the conversation, but men will often deflect, promise, or maneuver the issue. When a woman loves a man, she will often back down, be patient, and stay with him, in hopes he will change and eventually commit his life to her. Using a woman, but not respecting her biological clock, her needs and desires for her family, is selfish, disrespectful, and ultimately a betrayal of her love. If a man knows his partner is not the one, a true masculine man would have an honest conversation about where he stands and his intentions, and respectfully let her go so she can find the man who will give her the partnership and future she desires. Similar to the last point, it's important to be honest and upfront about what you're looking for and your intentions. If you're not looking for anything serious and just want a one-night stand, just be honest about it. If the woman you want is looking for something more serious, be honest and tell her respectfully you're not interested in that type of commitment. Because some women out there do want a one-night stand. And if you're both honest with each other and believe you'll receive equal value from the interaction, then that's being respectful because you're being honest and considering the other person. But as a man, don't deceive women and withhold your true intentions when you know she is looking for a long-term committed relationship and you're not. Obviously, this goes without saying that this applies to women as well. In the dating process, some men will put on a persona or alter ego with the belief they'll increase their chances of finding a woman who desires them. For example, by creating the rich guy persona, by leasing expensive cars, wearing designer clothes and jewelry, and taking women to expensive restaurants or shopping sprees. But what type of woman is that attracting? Do you want a woman who only cares about how much money you have and the superficial life you portray to live? No, the right woman for you is the woman who will love you for who you truly are. If you want to attract a better woman, then of course work on yourself to become a better person, but don't create a fake persona. Because number one, many women can see right through it and know when a man is not being authentic. And number two, it creates a sense that a man has insecurities or that his true self is not good enough. And that's definitely not attractive. And number three, it attracts the wrong type of woman because she will be attracted to the value she receives from the persona, not from you. And that's guaranteed not to last. Yes, some divorce laws need to change to make things more fair. And yes, some women take advantage of men. And yes, some feminists fight for superiority and the destruction of masculinity. And yes, some women are just bad people and do bad things. However, women are also mothers, sisters, daughters, friends, and coworkers to men. And most women, like men, are just trying to live their lives in peace, be happy, fulfilled, and surrounded by good friends and family, many of which are kind, respectable, and honest men. The problem is, if you watch certain content from online communities like feminist groups Red Pill or Megtown, you might believe there's a hot war going on between men and women in the streets. This is just not the reality about how the majority of people live their lives and interact in the real world. As an analogy, being inside a tornado is a very different experience than seeing one from afar. And often the perspective of the internet and social media is that we're all inside their tornado. But real life is not like that. And I think we can all gain some perspective by also choosing to view certain issues from afar, to better see them for what they are. I've learned that time and distance are extremely valuable in reassessing personal beliefs. Mature and masculine men treat women with respect in the real world because they value their roles in society, including as mothers, sisters, daughters, friends, and coworkers, and the equal value they offer men. This one's going to be a quick one because it's self-explanatory. I don't know what gives men the impression that sending a dick pic makes them any more desirable to women. Personally, I perceive it as a move of desperation and the lowest form of masculinity and self-worth. Women are not a set of holes for your pleasure. Just don't do it. In the end, there's one word that can summarize the solutions to these examples of disrespect: honesty. Men and women being more honest with themselves and towards each other. If I value respect, honesty, truth, and trust, and a man doesn't share those same fundamental values, then he's obviously not the man for me. As handsome, charming, intelligent, fit, and wealthy as he may be, I need to be honest with myself and know that if we don't share those same fundamental values, we won't be happy and it won't work out. And I think that's something we're missing between men and women in relationships and society. Another contributor to this lack of respect is I believe we are a very hurt society, that we feel betrayed by our government, being used and abused by large corporations and industries for their own power and financial gain, by news media creating false realities and fear-mongering to increase viewership, and being manipulated by social media who create unique user perceptions of reality. And the problem is we are taking out all this anger, frustration, and pain on the innocent everyday people we talk to on social media, meet on the street, and go out on a date with. Unfortunately, we also take it out on people close to us, like our partner, friends, and family. When we give in to living in fear, to be victims, and always expect the worst, that's often what happens. We tend to perceive things to be negative and harmful when they're not. We create ideas and imagine stories that people are out to get us, oppress us, and are sexist and racist towards us, when in reality, they're just trying to do their jobs and live their lives in peace. As long as we keep wanting to see the worst in people, the worst in us will always prevail and prevent us from being forgiving, loving, caring, happy, hopeful, and excited for the future, and seeing the beauty of life and realizing our full potential. That's it from me on this video. I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a situation where a man or woman disrespected you? And how did you handle it? If you like the work that I do, please give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps the algorithm get it out to more people. And if you want to watch another one, I would recommend this one, or I'm just gonna put it somewhere on the screen, about my personal experience with feminism. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.